Good morning, Mani.
Good morning, sir.
Recently, one of my books is translated from Malayalam into English, Of Men, Women and Witches. It is a kind of book which has a biographical element and a fiction element. You may call it as a fictional biography. It's a different genre in English even. Actually, it's a postmodern phenomenon, mixing big fiction in biography and the biographic element in fiction. So, what's your idea about the biographical element in your fiction?
I think all fiction has some form of biographical, element into it. I think somehow you invest a little bit of the author of, or the maker into any act of fiction. Whereas the other way around, when you have a biography and when fiction gets mixed into that, I'm not too sure, which is fiction, which is biography, which is real. Whereas if it is a fictional story in which biography is already there, then I think it's much more easier for me to discern.
That's true, but a biography should be very authentic. It should be very authentic. That always it should be very perfect.
Yeah.
But the problem is, in common biographies, there is nothing serious in it. For example, in my life, you may call it as a very ordinary life. I am not an extraordinary person. I have known extraordinary experiences in my life. I have experience with my father, mother, my brother, and my younger sister. I am writing about them. But I found some kind of vision, philosophical vision in it. So to enhance that vision, I have to make it better. I mean, I have to add some kind of fictional element in it. So actually, I'm enhancing the reality in the biography through that element of fiction. That's the way of writing of these particular articles.
Yeah.
I can say them as articles, but they are not exactly articles. They are stories also, but they are not exactly stories because they are personal experiences also. There is an edge between experience and fiction.
Right.
So I am talking about that edge.
Yeah.
How can you maintain that edge in your fiction?
Yeah, I think in fiction, it is the biographical element is kind of imperceptible almost. Even you may not know that it is from your life. It will find its own way inside. But what you're saying is very interesting, that when I read a biography, it is not just, that this happened and then this happened and this happened, but how each element made a difference to you or what impact it created to you is what I'm looking for. So if that is getting enhanced, I'm very happy. If I understand the impact or the change that a particular incident in life has made for you, then it reveals a lot more than just a data voice biography. So I agree that could be interesting, but I think it because it is you, because it's your responsible writer who's so very well known, I can take it. But if somebody else writes a biography and there is a lot of fiction in it, I don't know which is fiction, which is biography. So to me, it becomes, so if you can find another form, another word, another caption for it, to know that these are stories in your life, then it kind of I'm able to accept it, or not only I'm able to enjoy it a lot more. I'm able to understand the vision behind the incident.
That's true. We can differentiate it like this. There's a difference between lie and fiction. Fiction is not a lie. Fiction is an enhanced truth. It's not lie. If somebody is trying to lie in the name of fiction, it's going very wrong.
Correct.
So my question is, I am watching your movies for the past 20 years. You never created a male character who is a coward or a weaker person. Almost every person in your movie reflects a personal character of your life. I mean, I am seeing yourself in almost every man main character in your movie. They are not cowards. They are a little bit aggressive. They are bold. Either they are tacit and underspoken people, but sometimes they are very eloquent or emotional people. But still, you never created a cowardly person. So, do you identify yourself with your characters every time?
I think you write what you like, what you
So,
appreciate, what you admire, but that doesn't mean you can't create a character which is not like you. I mean, that is what fiction is about, that to be able to be in different shoes, be able to be a terrorist, I mean, still, you should be able to do that, if you're doing fiction. So I think maybe I'll take it as a point and see whether I can bring in a not so brave character in the next film.
I'm not telling about brave characters, but a character with an intensity.
Yeah.
So we are talking about a new movie now, and well, I am designing a character with a weaker personality. I mean, some kind of feminine character. You said, he should not be like that. He should be some boldness in his. He should involve in things. So you are trying to pour yourself into the characters, and then only you can create them completely. That's the problem, isn't it?
To an extent, I mean, I'm aware of that. See, when you're trying to write or conceive a film, you're looking at it as the overall, conflict that the film is depicting, and that conflict should come through in its full form. You feel the drama should be, fully exploited. Sometimes, if one is strong and another is not so strong, the drama doesn't elevate itself. That is the reason probably why you're looking at two elements can be opposites, but if they're strong, then the dramatic element comes out much more strongly.
Yeah, that's true. That's a popular opinion about Tolstoy, that almost every character of Tolstoy is Tolstoy himself. So the conflict in his works is the conflict between his personalities.
Interesting.
So see, in the major characters in War and Peace, Prince Andrew, Pierre, Rasto, all are representing Tolstoy himself.
Okay.
And the conflict is actually his personal conflict, the conflict inside him. So that's a natural idea.
Yeah. He's a master and learning.
But it's a way of real creativity, I think. So while I'm talking about this book, the Men, Woman, and
Witches.
I
Interesting title.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell who is this. But still, these articles are originally published in Malayalam. Few years back, I was asked to write something in Madhurabhumi and Bhasha Bhushan. My mother tongue is Malayalam. I used to write out in Tamil. These are the initial works I wrote in Malayalam. But I was thinking about writing something fresh in Malayalam. Political articles are very, very popular in Malayalam. There are actually great personalities there in political writing. And travel writing is also very, very popular in Malayalam. And I am worshipping some names in that genre. So I tried to write something new. That's why I started to write my personal biographical notes. That was very, very strange to Malayalam audience at that time, because it is a kind of biography of unknown person. At that time, I was an unknown person in Malayalam. Suddenly, this kind of writing became very, very popular in Malayalam, and these particular articles are extensively read in Malayalam. And they created a new genre of writing in Malayalam, because almost everyone can easily identify themselves with these characters. Because every Malayali man has a conflict with his father. For example, the elder generation Malayali fathers are very tacit, very silent, and very kind of resolute persons. So Malayalis have a conflict always. They have the problem with their father. So they can easily identify my father. They can easily identify myself in this fiction. So then only they celebrated the work. And actually, it is made into a movie called Olimuri.
Okay.
These articles
Okay,
developed
okay,
the
the base,
script,
okay.
and I wrote that script,
Uh-huh.
and a movie made out of it, and it was very popular movie. It won a few national awards also. So I am mentioning this particular point. So we can read a biography of A.R. Rahman, but we are not A.R. Rahman. We can read a biography of Sachin Tendulkar, but we are not Sachin Tendulkar. But you can, while you are reading this biography, you are also a Jay Mohan.
Yeah,
You are also a common man like me, and you can easily identify with this.
Yeah.
So this biographic element of a common man is more important than a master or historical person in particular fiction. So we can easily say a good fiction work is biography of a common man.
Right, right. I understand. No, I mean, for example, whatever I've seen in Tamil, when, most of the verses or the stories that were told originally as epics were all about kings and queens and,
Yeah, that's right.
dynasty. And then Silappadigaram came, which talked about the common person, and till today it is an epic that stands. Basically, because we see everyday life, we see common people and their aspirations and their problems. So it is true. I think I can identify, which is true for movies also.
Yeah.
If somebody is able to identify with the characters in the film, then it becomes their own film.
That's so. Another important thing in creating fiction is you are actually pouring your personal identity or your personal emotions, your personality into the characters. But while you are creating a character from your personality, you have to make consciously a difference also. You have to differentiate it. You have to alienate it from yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes we create a ambience to make this alienation.
Correct. I understand.
So what kind of alienation is you are trying to do in your scripts?
Yeah, as far as possible, I try to do one film completely different from the previous.
Yeah.
So you're thrown into a completely different world, into a completely different situations, and therefore the people react differently. That you're not falling back on the same
That's
milieu that you have done before. And once the milieu changes completely, within that you'll have to find. And most of the time, when you do that, you don't know when yourself, you're seeping into the thing. But it will seep in, I know, I'm aware of it. But as far as possible, it should be unconscious, it should be subconscious, not conscious. And consciously, you're trying to live in the new milieu that you're working in.
So, if I ask a question, very personal. So, what is the character which is very close to you, according to you?
What is the character among the films that I've done? I don't know what I can say. I think
you should not say that. Yes, then everybody will fix it. But sometimes I try to figure it out because easily people will say that the character of Aravind Swamy in Talapati is very close to your personality because he is a refined upper class person. But actually, it is not true. I can identify yourself with some kind of underworld characters with a wild outfit and entirely new, strange kind of life. But the personality, their expression is very close to you. So that's the difference. That's the play in fiction, which is there is a play actually. We are giving an alienation to a character through alienating it ourselves from ourselves. We are making it very close to us.
Yeah.
That drama is very interesting
Okay.
in fiction.
Yeah, true.
So I enjoyed writing this fiction because this fictional biography or biographical fiction, because I am actually creating myself through this fiction. I am not creating a character. I am creating myself through this character. I am creating my father. Actually, my father is an entirely different person. But later, after his death, I found a spirituality in his personality. To pinpoint that personality, I created a new father out of the real father. That's the play in creating in a fiction like that.
Now I can't wait to read the book.
Thank you.